to our local non-league, and of course we're back with, of course, the man, for me, one of the nicest guys in non-league football and an absolute living legend himself, Mr. Andy Leese, the manager at Enfield Town, and not the result we wanted yesterday, Andy. And I mean, disappointing 2-1 at Brighton-in-Sea, but I think we've spoken previously about games against these teams at the wrong end of the table that can be real big banana skins.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. It didn't need to be. We started the game really well. 25 minutes of domination. I don't think they got anywhere near our box. I'm sorry, but they were a very limited outfit, and we allowed them to, come into the game. We didn't take a chances. We scored one of them, but it wasn't enough, and we sat off and just allowed them to come into the game. And even in the second half, although they had more of the ball perhaps early on, they were still shooting from distance, and we weren't really in any trouble, and then we've had more chances ourselves to kill the game off and haven't taken them. And then, it's how many times you see it, Dave, where say they get a scrappy one from a throw-in in the first half, and then the free kick that gets sort of recycled, and we don't deal with it right at the death. And then when the first goal was deflected in, it was going wide, and the second one was probably going wide, and that's taken 2 deflections past Nathan. So one of those days, and you get those results at this time of the season. I'm sure of that. I know that rather. And we're on the receiving end. It wasn't very pleasant, and I let the players know that it's not acceptable, I'm afraid, after the run we've had. And we could have made things sure for ourselves yesterday, but we had a little bit of complacency around the group. We had 2 or 3 that weren't quite, for whatever reason, and I've been working that out today with them, weren't quite at it. And you can't carry anyone, Dave, when you're playing this level of football. And then we had Jerry Gaby go off with a bang on the head, which didn't help us. We had to sort of reorganise. So yeah, disappointing, really bitterly disappointing day all round, Dave.
Mm. And of course, I suppose as well, what we've Hornchurch as well winning today, that hasn't sort of helped the mood at all either, has it?
Oh, well, I said to the players that the top teams don't do what we did yesterday, and they'll, the top teams like Hornchurch today will go on and win their games quite comfortably. They won't mess up like we've done. So, yeah, that's your kind of reward for what happened yesterday. But listen, our objective was to get in the playoffs, and we're almost there. I think we need a point to be mathematically sure. 2 points will secure us 4th place. That doesn't sit well with me. It's a fantastic objective to achieve, given where we've come from, Dave, and I will get down and dirty with it, given the financial resources we've got compared to the other teams around the top 10 or 12 of that division. And so it is a fantastic achievement, but it won't be for me if we don't, I think we should be looking at 2nd or 3rd spot still, and that's what we'll be doing this week to get back in the saddle and try and get ourselves some more points to get in there.
I suppose looking at that game, the game that you've got, coming up on Friday against Cray at home, and that's one of those games, again, a bit like the Brighton-in-Sea game, but this is one that, the players now can look at and go, well, look, we let it happen once. We're not going to let it happen a second time. Maybe a little bit of an eye-opener for them with that game against Brighton-in-Sea. Now you've got another one of the same sort of fixture as such coming up at the weekend. Do you think that might focus their minds a little bit more?
Yeah, I sincerely hope so. Yeah, and I think it will. I think the mood after the game showed me that it will. And let's be honest, Dave. I always say at the start of every season, you probably have half a dozen bad days at the office. We had another one yesterday. We've only had probably 3. The other games we lost have been, very, very narrow games, or we've been well beaten, for example, by Worthing away. So, I'm not going to get too despondent about it, but you're right. It's another type of game. Cray is still right. The bottom of the table's become more interesting than the top of the table, as we said last week, Dave. And so they're right in it still, aren't they? They'll have to come to us and win. And they've got some decent players in there, some decent individual players. And with Neil Smith going in, I know that they're organised differently. So So yeah, we've got to be on our guard, and I keep saying we have to be right at it. Every game now, the Potters Bar game, the Bognor game, we want to secure the highest position we can, and we want to go into the playoffs, which I think we will now, with some real momentum and playing with a bit of confidence, which we were until yesterday, only in the second half, really, where we've sort of dipped. So yeah, you make a good point, Dave. It's another one of those games, and we have to be at it.
Well, with Neil Smith going in at Cray, does that make it a different game? Did you maybe did you know sort of beforehand? Well, I know Cray are going to play like this and play like that, but now it's maybe sending Mo down to, or yourself going down to Cray today to have a look and seeing how they're playing today, or if you had sort of.
Yeah, no, we've seen them obviously before Neil went in, and we've seen them after Neil's gone in. So yeah, we know what they're all about. There'll be no surprises for us. They've got what they've got in terms of the squad, the same as we have. So yeah, we know what we're about to face. We just got to prepare properly this week, and not let that little bit of carelessness and complacency that crept into our game yesterday creep in on Friday. So yeah, be another tough afternoon, but one that we'll relish, I'm sure, once we've just shaken off what happened yesterday.
I mean, injuries wise though, you said you picked up another little one, at the weekend as well. I mean, how are we sitting with injuries?
Well, we've been okay, and I've had, I think it's 18 or 19 players to select from. Jerry banged his head yesterday, stayed on, and then had to come off, suffering with his vision a little bit. So that was the right thing to do, but precaution as well. So I think he'll be okay. Adam Cunnington wasn't involved yesterday, having sort of damaged his hamstring the week before, but it's a pretty minor sort of tear of his hamstring. I think he'd be okay for this weekend, either the Friday, this coming week, either the Friday or the Monday. So nothing else yesterday, just a couple of bits of wounded pride, I would imagine, for a few of the lads, well, and for me as well in the management team, But yeah, I think apart from that, Dave, we're okay.
It's one of those things. I mean, how easy is that now to pick yourself up and pick the players up, ready for the weekend? Do you work on yourself first before working on the players?
Yeah, I try to always have a routine when we lose. I don't think about it too much after the game, and I tend to sort of process it today. And usually, Dave, by lunchtime today, I'm normally clear. What happened, what went, why it happened, and where we go, what we got to do to get things right. So yeah, we're all the same. Me and Maz think and work the same with Ian Hart and Tommy and the whole of the management team. So yeah, we've had a bit of a debrief between us today in the message group, and we'll be back on it tomorrow night, preparing with a couple of sessions this week ahead of Friday.
So you got a game Friday night. Do you have you have a session, as you say, like normally on Tuesday? I mean, and then a session Thursday. So, but do you change those training days because of the game on Friday, or do you not have a session on Thursday night?
Yeah, we'll probably leave the Thursday session. We'll work the rest of the week. We'll leave the Thursday session. Whether that means we work a bit longer or a bit more intensively in the session. But the players are in great shape. They are fit. They're looking very sharp. And one of the things I think I've said to you, Dave, we're trying to do is make sure that we're not over training or coaching. We're at this stage we're trying to avoid contact as much as we can in the sessions. If you can follow my drift, to try and avoid injuries. But obviously we need that to be some when we play a game in training. So yeah, we're trying to get the right balance of physical work with the games. But the players are in great shape. We came off the back of long runs, as you know, in January and then again in March. So there's no issue with how we are. It's just making sure it's a bit like a start of the season, trying to get ourselves ready for when it really matters. But yeah, we'll probably do one long session this week and maybe a tactical session as well, just to make sure we're right.
Yeah. Well, listen, mate, I know it's been a tough weekend. heads up, and we know you're going to go out and get the points you want over the holiday weekend, and hopefully I shall see you Friday evening as well.
Friday afternoon, Dave. Don't turn up Friday
So
evening.
Friday afternoon. So Friday afternoon, yeah. Try and
Yeah,
get
don't.
out there Friday afternoon. Don't come Friday night; you'll be finished and gone home.
Yeah,
Friday,
you're welcome. We'll probably be having a beer, but you won't see any football. So
yeah, no, yeah. I'll try and get over there Friday afternoon. But listen, mate, wish you all the best for the week and training and everything else. And thanks again for giving up your time tonight. And then and hopefully we'll speak again. Well, maybe Friday, and if not, then on Sunday.
Yeah, just one final point, Dave, if I can, just publicly,
Yeah.
just to say congratulations to Worthing, worthy winners. Have been for the last couple of seasons with the sort of truncated seasons, but yeah, I doubt Adam Mitchell watches any of this, but or wants to listen to me. But yeah, real well done to them. Been the best team by a mile. The rest of us, they've set the standard for us all, and really pleased to see them sort of nail it yesterday. But yeah, just wanted to end with that, Dave. Thanks for giving me the chance.
No problem at all, mate. No worries at all. And we echo those statements completely with them as well, because as you say, they've been a fantastic side over the last 3 years, and probably deserved to go up 3 years ago, and finally managed to do it. So congratulations to all of those at Worthing. But I'll be back next week with Andy. Until then.